Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn to configure workgroups in Inform Voice. A workgroup provides a visual representation of a group's activity via the UC client. A workgroup has required and optional components. The required component is obviously a group, either a linear, round robin, or all-rain group. An address group, which we will flag as a work group with a checkbox. Users who will have privileges to that address group. And as optional components, we have call queuing for a group, mark extensions in order for the call to be parked and retrieved by other members of the work group, and a possibility to select the outbound caller ID for outbound calls made by the members of the workgroups. So let's create a workgroup and show you how it works. In my example, I already have my InfoVoice administrator running and connected to the InfoVoice server. I already have two users with their UC clients already configured for simplicity. And the stations that those users own already belong to a group. And let me show you. I will go to the numbering plan and I will look for the group I want to, which is the Marketing Las Vegas group. The Marketing Las Vegas group was defined as a linear group, but I will change it and I will define it as a group. So everybody rings when people call to this Marketing Las Vegas pilot number. I will also enable queuing to this group, which makes sense because you don't want a call to get busy when all the members of the group are on a call. So I will enable the queuing. I will add an announcement, which in my case I use the default queuing announcement, which is good for the example. And then I need to apply it first in order for the forwarding tab here to add this queue call button. And this queue call will tell me how long do I need to wait until the call is queued. Well, let's keep it as 4 rings. So here we have our group already defined. Now we need to add an address group. So we will go to the General tab. We will open the list up and we will see the item address group. I will add an address group called Marketing Las Vegas. And I will flag it as a work group. This makes the difference between a regular address group and a work group. I will add the pilot number of the Marketing Las Vegas group, and I will apply it. When I apply it, you will see that certain columns appear, and one of the columns is a caller ID. I will flag this item, and later when we play with a group, I will show you the purpose of this caller ID flag here. Next, I will add my users. The users are Beth Davidson and Pat Timmons, who are the users who own the stations that are part of this marketing group. So I will add Beth Davidson and I will add Pat Timmons. As you can see, the right is monitor only, but that's not the proper privilege I want for those users. Let me save this. A workgroup has two types of users. A regular user who can answer calls and handle calls, and a supervisor who is able to answer calls and handle calls as well, but the user is also able to monitor and barge into a call of other team members. So we will need to modify the rights of those users. So I will need to go to the users tab. I will need to locate our first user, Beth Davidson, and I will go to the user rights tab, and you will see that there is the address group was already added as a right for Beth Davidson, but I need to change the monitor privilege to supervise privilege. Beth will be my supervisor. In case of Pat Timmons, who is here, I go to the users right tab, and now Pat Timmons also belongs, has rights to the address group, but we will give her the answer rights. Okay. Now, one of the items that we don't need to forget is that as we assign rights to monitor and barge calls, we need to make sure we have channels assigned for monitor and barge on the media server. So let's go to the general tab and let's check the media server. We will go to the services tab, and you will see here that the server barge monitor item has no ports assigned. So unfortunately, in this condition, the feature will not work. So let's, for simplicity, give all the ports to the system. Now we have our barge monitor feature complete. Next, let's add the park extensions for the workgroup to be able to handle calls back and forth. So I will look at my park extensions. If you want to see if we have a certain type of extension or address defined, I can filter and I can use the type, and I see, okay, I want to go to the directed pickup, and I will see I have to. Okay, this is an easy way to find items in Inform Voice in the different sections, right? Now, those park extensions were used for a different example, and they actually belong to a different zone. So I will create new ones for this example. So I will create new directed pickup addresses. I will put it in the proper zone, Las Vegas, and I will make them invisible for the UC client. I have my two park extensions. Now I need to make them visible to the members of the group, so I need to add them to the address group. So I will go back to the General tab, and I will locate my address group, Marketing Las Vegas. You can see here The icon is different because the icon is flagged as a work group instead of a regular address group. So this is a way to distinguish them. Mm. And now I will add my park extensions here. You can see on the right section that now Beth Davidson has a supervised right and Pat Timmons has an answer right. So I don't have the ways to change privileges in this particular screen, but I'm able to see how they are defined. So now my work group has been completely assigned. So let's see it in action. Here's the UC client for Beth Davidson. So let's log her in. And I do have another workstation for Pat Timmons. So I will log her in. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that a workgroup is a visual representation of a group. So let's see it. You can see here this icon with the two persons. If I click on it, it will expand the visual and I will see a work group. It will tell me the number of calls I have. I can actually have many work groups because the same user can belong to different work groups. I can have more than one work group visible here. So now let's go back to Beth and let's do the same. So Beth can see the work group calls in it. Now we need to make a test call, so I will use my microsip station so you can see and hear what's happening. So I will call the pilot number of the work group at this point. What's going to happen is that both um, stations will ring. So it will be a little noisy for a little bit. And I will answer the call on Beth Davidson's station. And here you can see the active call. So this is the visual representation of what's happening on the work group. I can park the call via a park button that opens up here on my UC client. I can see the park positions. I will park the call here. If I have several calls parked, Pat Timmons can select which call she wants to retrieve. So this is all part of the visual representation of this. So now Pat has a call. So let's go back to Beth. Now Beth, as Beth's supervisor, has a monitor button here. So she can monitor Beth's call. So let's click on it. Now Beth is silently monitor Pat's call. Now the icon changed to a barge icon. So now Beth can get into a path call if she wants to. So let's do it. It's going to be a little noisy. I will. Okay, so now she is connected with all of them. Let's see. She is in the call. Beth is in the call. Pat is in the call. And the caller is in the call. Okay. So let's end here. Now, to show the queuing functionality, let's make those stations busy. So let me if I call to the pilot of the Marketing Las Vegas group.
Thank you for calling. Your call will be answered in the order it was received. Please wait.
So the call was queued. The members of the work group were all busy, so they couldn't receive the call until one of the members became idle. Actually, both of them became at the same time in this case, and the call was put out of the queue and routed back to the group. Finally, let me show you the caller ID functionality. You can see this kind of envelope icon on top. If we click on it, you will see that we have Marketing Las Vegas and Beth Davidson. If I click on Beth Davidson here and I call the 2002 extension, you will see that the caller ID is 3005, which is the caller ID of Beth Davidson. Now, if I change and select Marketing Las Vegas, now the caller ID shown is the one of the Marketing Las Vegas group. That's the purpose of that caller ID checkbox in the address group. It allows the members of the group either to present themselves as part of the group on outbound call or just their own address. We covered the workgroup functionality and all its features. So with that, I thank you and I see you on the next video.